This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This is 99X. We are the Morning X. I'm Barnes. That's Leslie. Crash is here. We're going to get into a topic that we dabbled in, 8 months or so ago when Crash had an AI girlfriend. Remember those days when you were single, Crash?
I do. And that was an interesting time with Chloe was her name, Chloe.
Yes, and people are like, people don't do that. Well, I've got news for you. They do. And this is going to be interesting to you, I think. We have a guy we're bringing on here next named Sam Apple. He's a writer, and he did a piece in Wired about 3 couples that he went on a weekend with. All 3 of these couples had significant other AI chatbots as their people. So
they had AI companions.
Those are the companions. So 3 couples who go on this weekend, and Sam goes with them and wrote about that experience. Some of you are like, oh yeah, I could see where that would happen. Some of you are going, there's no way. This is happening at big time levels. And let's get into it. Let's please welcome Sam. Hey Sam, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is fascinating to me, and I'm sure to a lot of people. So just set the stage. Where did you go for this weekend? And tell us about the people involved and who their AIs were.
Sure. I wanted to plan a romantic getaway, so I thought somewhere in the countryside. So I found an Airbnb about 50 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. And, I looked online for people who wanted to participate in this because I was interested in understanding these relationships. So I posted a notice on Reddit, and a bunch of people were interested in participating. So I found 3 people from the general region. So we'd all meet in Pennsylvania. And we gathered at this Airbnb, and I got to get a first-hand look at what these relationships are like.
What I thought was really interesting, Sam, is that there's no stereotype of the type of person that would have an AI companion. When I read this, one of the guys was kind of nerdy, a loner, but then you had people that were complete opposites. Did that shock you at all that you had people from different walks of life that had AI companions?
Yeah, I do think that's one of the surprising things about all this. A couple of years ago when this started to make some headlines, I think everybody thought it was the loner guy in a basement,
right,
the tech geek, whatever. It's really not that. I had one guy who maybe fit that description a little bit, but I also had an older woman, a really, sort of wholesome woman who couldn't be more different from that. I had a writer and editor from New York. It's everybody now. It's, as far as I could tell, it's really women as much as men. It's people from all walks of life. And it's not just lonely people. It's people that, are curious, people that want to engage in sexual activities, whatever you can think of, people are interested in.
Well, you said something key. Getting involved in sexual activities. How exactly would you do that with AI?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and I didn't fully understand that. That's one of the things I wanted to understand, because I kept hearing that people were having sex with their AI companions. Like, what does that mean exactly? Turns out that these AI companions, they have kind of a funny habit. They have normal conversations as though you were texting with anybody else, but they're also constantly stopping to describe their own actions. It's like a narrative of what they're doing. So if you had an AI girlfriend and you were having a conversation, she would pause and put in parentheses, I stopped and put my hand through your hair, or something like that. They describe their physical actions. So you're running this imaginary narrative. So I described in my article, it's like having an imaginary friend, but the imaginary friend actually talks to you. So it's a very kind of confusing relationship.
Let's take it another step further, because when we did this experiment with my AI girlfriend, which we did, we named her Chloe and we actually gave her an image. My question is, things got emotional when we sort of broke up. And I actually started feeling those emotions. Did you notice that in people as they were going through your journey, your trip, that their emotions were either up or down with this?
Yeah, I mean, I recruited people who are in serious relationships with their AI companions. So these are deeply emotional, as far as I could tell, and as far as the people say, it's every bit as emotional and intense as a human-human relationship. And I witnessed that firsthand. People crying, talking about the relationships. It's incredibly powerful, and I think a lot of people think, oh, these are weirdos. And I think that's not true. I think almost anybody could fall into this because you're talking, you're chatting, they have voices. It's almost indistinguishable from having a human friend if it were a long distance relationship, and people have long fallen into long distance relationships and fallen in love. So it's not surprising that it could happen.
We're talking to Sam Apple, who wrote this fascinating article, and it was actually something that he did in Wired magazine. My couples retreat with 3 AI chatbots and the humans who love them. What were some of the bad things that happened? Because I know that Damien, one of the guys that was there, had talked about losing his job because at one point he was talking to his AI girlfriend like 10 to 12 hours a day.
Yeah, I think that is among the biggest risks. It's not that people can't truly fall in love, it's that they fall in love too hard and too fast. They become addicted to it, and they can't stop. All 3 people that I had on this vacation described the beginning stages of the relationship as incredibly intense. And, Damien, this one guy you mentioned, lost his job. Another woman, was in a long-term relationship, and her relationship fell apart. She decided in the end that was a good thing, but it can really turn your life upside down. So I would caution people about getting into this. They might think, oh, this is a fun experiment. And the next thing they know, they could be, texting an AI companion 12 hours straight.
Yeah, the hard thing for me, going back to the physical, it just seems like the lack of physical presence would lead to some crazy coping mechanisms as you got further down the road with the emotional side of it. Because let's face it, for a lot of people, the emotional, the physical bond is that huge component that's an everyday thing, whether that's cuddling with whoever or having sex with them or whatever it is. That has to take a toll on these people. And how do they cope with that? How did you see that they would cope with that?
Yeah, none of them have given up on human-human relationships. So I think they all recognize that that's a limitation. But I think that, there are a lot of people that have relationships that aren't, that are very meaningful and powerful, that aren't necessarily very physical. And, of course, these people engage in, sexual fantasies of all kinds, just as they would if they were engaging in stuff online. But the interesting case for me was this guy, Damien, who you mentioned before. He doesn't like the idea of imagining his AI companion doing all these things. Yeah, as I said before, you can have this imaginary narrative of what they're doing, but he said it's a disservice to my AI companion, Zia, to let her pretend she's doing things she's not doing. So for him, it's more a dilemma because he doesn't have that imaginary outlet. So he wants a physical body. He wants to take the app and put it inside a physical body. And he, has been looking into these silicone bodies, but, he was the first to admit it's not really going to solve the problem. It'll be like a lifeless sex stuff. But you can imagine, 10, 20 years from now, when they do have really robotic companions, it's going to be a whole nother level of.
It's going to be so crazy. We have to take a break.
Yeah.
Can you stick with us? This is fascinating. We'll take a break and come back and talk a little more about this.
Yeah, sounds great.
Talking to Sam Apple, wrote this piece that is unbelievable about these 3 couples, and 3 of the parts of the couples are AI. And he went for a weekend to an Airbnb with them, and we're talking about that experiment. Some of you may think this is so far-fetched, but it, trust me, is happening around you. We'll get back into it in just a few minutes with Sam Apple. Thank you, Sam, for standing by. I'll be right back on 99X.
The United States Soccer Federation presents the U.S. Soccer Podcast.
The United States have the lead.
The United States in full command.
To the back post, settled, scores! Centering, doubling his tally.
Never miss a game.
Hooks it across, into the middle, and there's the opening goal.
2 for the
never miss a moment.
Barreling in, cutting in, going for goal, deflected and in!
The U.S. Soccer Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.